What's going on, YouTube? I'm E, and this is Simply Put Scents.
Okay, that's enough.
Anyway, guys, I wanted to talk to you about a fragrance that came out in 2015 by the house of Armaf, and the fragrance is Shades Blue. The first thing I immediately thought when I smelled this fragrance was Bleu De Chanel. With the addition of the rosemary and the sage in this composition, it makes Shades Blue a lot more green than Bleu De Chanel. So it's interesting, it's almost like a blue-green fragrance. Of course though, Bleu De is a much smoother fragrance. I guess you could say the synthetic notes in this fragrance are not blended the best that they could have been. It's also noteworthy to say that it didn't really matter because the fragrance is very pleasant. For those of us in the fragrance community that have more evolved taste, you might not appreciate a fragrance like this. This is definitely an easy to wear, easy to appreciate, simple fragrance, but in its simplicity there is a little bit of complexity. So it's Bleu De with a lot more of a green thumb. The performance of Shades Blue is very good. Consistently 8 hours of longevity. When it's hot outside, it'll really improve the sillage and the projection of this scent. When the weather is a little bit more comfortable, this scent will be a little bit more closer to the skin. I feel like this fragrance really does well in the warm weather. It's a beautiful fragrance for the warm weather. However, the longevity and the performance of this fragrance, along with that vetiver note that's very prominent in this scent, allows it to be worn all year round. And I would definitely say it's a skeleton key fragrance because you can wear this any situation and it'll work. It's a very easy to wear fragrance. I mean, you can't get easier to wear than this. This Shades Blue Unique. I mean, do I even have to say? This fragrance truly is the definition of the word generic. It's cheaper. It's made by a brand that's not of the same reputation of the original. And of course, it smells like the other fragrance. There are tons of scents that smell similar to Bleu De Chanel. This fragrance will be one of many of those types of fragrances. However, one of the things I will say, guys, is Armaf did a decent job because even though this smells like a lot of Bleu De Chanel-esque type fragrances, this is a fragrance that does it in a really respectable way. The value of this fragrance is pretty decent. It smells pretty decent. It smells like Bleu De Chanel. It's a fragrance that you could wear all year round. It's versatile. I definitely think this fragrance has a lot of value. Even though it shares the composition style of another fragrance, and because of that fragrance being so popular, it shares that similar style to a lot of other fragrances that are also trying to copy the success of that other fragrance. This fragrance is a lot better than a lot of the alternatives for that fragrance. Did you guys get that? This is not a bad alternative for Bleu De Chanel if you guys don't want to pay that high Bleu De price. So yeah, decent value for sure. Compliments. Now, Shades Blue definitely did get me compliments, and it does get me compliments consistently. I don't get the type of compliments where it's like,
Oh my god, I want to have your baby.
but it's definitely the type of compliments that are like,
Wow, that's nice. That smells good. Oh, you smell good. Honey, you smell great. What are you wearing, child?
like that type of thing. I have a lot of cool ladies in my building. That's what they say to me. Anyway, oh boy. It's one of those fragrances that I feel is a very good mass appealing scent. I mean, it's copying Bleu De Chanel 60-something%, right? It's about 60% Bleu De, so not the best blend. A little bit heavy-handed, a little bit sloppy. It's not as smooth as it could have been, okay? So, and that probably has a lot to do with the notes, but I would also argue that it's probably more to do with the blend. The first 20 minutes of this scent, even though it can be a really nice 20 minutes, it can come across a little bit harsh. It's an obnoxious opening, I would say that for sure. But, you know, some people like that. You know, some people like a a strong, punchy fragrance for the summertime. So this could be a negative to some people and a positive to others. Another thing that people can possibly say is it's a clone. And to some people, if a fragrance is too similar to another fragrance and they're not within the same house, that's an automatic red flag, and that's an automatic disqualifier as far as respect for that scent. To me though, I really don't care. I look at fragrances as food, and if one place makes a burger better than another place, I really don't care that they're both making burgers. I just care who makes the burger better for me, and I definitely don't see that as an issue with this scent. It doesn't matter to me that this scent is pretty much borrowing or influenced hard by Bleu De Chanel. That's not an issue for me, but it might be an issue for others. So I would definitely consider that a negative for people to consider. Another negative can be the sprayer. It's like literally dealing with it. So for some people, that might be a womp. As you know, I like to rank fragrances in what I call the P.A.G.E rating system, and that is P for poor, A for average, my homie G for good, and E for exceptional. So, where do you think Shades Woods lands on the page? Well guys, I gotta be honest with you. I have 2 ratings for this fragrance because I'm biased. I'm biased about this fragrance because personally, I like it. Personally, I think it smells good. Personally, I don't care that it's synthetic. Personally, I don't care that it smells like Bleu De Chanel. It's a cheaper version of Bleu De Chanel, but to be honest with you guys, I wasn't ready to spend the retail price for Bleu De Chanel anyway. So that I could get this fragrance for about a third of the price of Bleu De Chanel was a selling point in my eyes. My biased rating is a G. This fragrance is a good scent to me. I think it's versatile. It smells really pleasant. People like it on me. People like it on me. It lasts a very nice amount of time. It works beautifully with the sun and the heat. I really like the way it smells. Even though it has a little bit of harshness, even though it has a little bit of roughness on the edges, it's not the most smooth fragrance as I mentioned earlier, but it's okay. Who cares? There are gonna be some guys that even like this more than Bleu De Chanel. I'm probably sure of that because this fragrance I think performs a lot better. So there are gonna be some people who like this more, even though it's not as smooth. It's more obnoxious, it's more in your face. And they might even prefer that over Bleu De, which is very reserved after 2 to 3 hours. So in my personal taste, I consider this fragrance a G. Now, if I had to put on my reviewer hat and give you guys an honest, objective rating, I can't lie to you guys. This scent is an average fragrance. It smells good though. It's a pleasant fragrance, but its faults, I think, make it hard for me to give it anything above an A rating. It's not a scent of consequence, but it's a very decent smelling scent. That though will not get you anything above an A. You can't be a decent smell and get above an A rating. So my unbiased rating would have to be it's an A scent. It's an average scent, but boy, is it a pleasant average scent. It's definitely a scent I could see people wanting, and it's definitely a scent I think a lot of people would like. It's not a bad scent at all, but again, it's nothing that amazing either. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. I really appreciate all of you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that button. You know, click that. Let me know what you think about this fragrance, guys, if you've smelt it before. If you like Armaf, let me know what your favorite Armaf fragrances are. I really find that Armaf does very decent clones. Some people hate that, but I mean, I can't really. Western houses have been robbing Middle Eastern houses of their style for the longest now. So I feel like, hey, it's only like karma for Middle Eastern houses to do the same to the West at this point. That's just how it goes, guys. You think a little bit from me, I think a little bit from you. Everyone should have the opportunity to smell good. And with Armaf, you might not smell as great as the original scent it's based on, but at the end of the day, you'll smell good. And you won't have your pockets being drained. So, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'm E. This is Simply Put Scent. Simply OUT.